Let's hear what you want to say.
Okay, Bezat Hashem. So we're back to our Shalom Bayit Shur. Yesterday we stopped off that what? He says that a man needs to know what it means to be a man. And part of being a man is to give, yeah? To give and to make the wife first place. So he says the lesson of no comments is also giving. Why? Comments detract from a wife's honor, make her feel inadequate, and rob her of her self-confidence. Meaning he says, even with the no comments, you're also giving. He says compliments, love, praise, on the other hand, increase her self-confidence, increases her happiness and her vitality. A husband who wants to make his wife happy showers her with the light, quote unquote, of sincere compliments and praise, while shielding her from the darkness, quote unquote, of derogatory remarks and criticisms. Yeah, the more you're going to compliment her, the more she's going to feel the light from you, and the more she's going to want to do things. The more you're going to do negative comments, the more dark she's going to become, quote unquote, and she's not going to want to do anything. He says a true man gives because it's his nature to do so. He doesn't give with ulterior motives. He doesn't hope to get honor or concessions for his wife just because he gives to her. He wants to give. A man who feels that it's unfair that he should give to his wife without receiving anything in return is still plagued by female characteristics. Somebody calls me yesterday and says, but I don't understand. What, is it hard? Why can't I get a compliment from my wife? Why can't I said, no, you could. Nobody says you cannot. But if you're waiting for that, that's already a problem. Yeah? If you're waiting for her to say, thank you for shopping, and if she's not going to say that, you're not going to go shopping, yeah? Thank you for, supporting, and you're not going to support. So that's a problem. You as a man, you're not supposed to be looking for that praise. Why? You're a man, you do it. You hear? He says the lessons of the mirror.
Ladies, have one problem.
Yeah.
You know what's the problem? They don't know how to say thank you.
Oh.
Why? Ask yourself why.
Mm-hmm.
Say, why should I say thank you to this husband?
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing 98% of the job.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody say thank you to me.
Mm-hmm.
So if he is doing 2%, I have to still say yes. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No.
Rabbi make a good point that I noticed that he's saying, if you give, she'll give back to you. Guess what? When you don't get thank you, it means you don't say thank you to your wife. So therefore, that's why she's not giving it to you. You're not appreciating her because you're thinking in your mind, what do you mean? She's got to cook. She's got to clean. She's got to do this. She's got to keep the family up. She's got to eat that. She's got to this. So guess what she's thinking? He's got to work. He's got to bring. He's got to do this. He's got to do it. So why should I thank? But if he thanks her incessantly and says, wow, you're the best. I can't believe you're the... Believe me, she's going to say the same thing to you. You hear? He says, the lesson of the mirror, quote unquote, chapter explains giving in a different sense. Once a man knows that his wife is his mirror, he understands that whatever faults he sees in her are rooted in him. If he wants her to change, he works on himself. He knows that it makes no sense to comment and to try to change her with his words, right? Comments exhibit a husband's lack of sensitivity, damage a wife's self-confidence, and show a lack of emunah. Every comment is an attempt to change things in a way not directed by Hashem, and at times not directed by Hashem. Meaning, he says, whenever I make comments, he says, what are you making comments for? The comments you shouldn't be making to her. You should be making to yourself. Why? Because if she's your mirror, right, everything negative you see about her, it means that you're this person in a different way, right? Meaning, not that if she's messy and you're not, don't say, no, but she's messy. I'm not a messy guy. I'm a very clean guy. You're messy somewhere else. You hear? And therefore, Hashem is making you see this, and He's saying you have also these same characteristic faults, but in another area. What's the area? You got to sit down and do your cheshbonot. It says a man with emunah knows that if he wants something to change, he needs to pray for it, work on himself, and then wait. The change will happen when Hashem decides that the time is right. You hear? He says when you see something not proper in your wife, you should automatically say, that means there's something wrong with me in this in this general area, right? Let's say laziness, we mentioned laziness, right? We said if she's lazy, you have to look at yourself. Am I lazy? So, no, I go to work. Yeah, but do you go to shul on time? Do you get up in the morning on time? Do you do, your heavenly obligations the way you're supposed to? And then if you truly say no, why? Because you're lazy, right? There's your answer why the wife is lazy. So what do you have to do? You have to improve yourself by not being lazy in those things. And guess what? Automatically, she's not lazy at home again. Says the following story illustrates how a husband's behavior towards his wife determines her behavior towards him. A rich miser once came to the rabbi saying that he wanted his wife to die. Yeah, and we know this story. Yeah, he's rich. He says, I want my wife to die. The rabbi was shocked and said, God forbid. Why? The man then related a long tale of suffering. He describes how cruel his wife is on him, how she humiliates him, torments him, maltreats him, to the point that the rabbi had to agree with him. From the picture you painted, he really was living with a monster and not a wife. Once he'd finished the story, he repeated his request for the rabbi's help to somehow make his wife die. He said that he simply couldn't carry on living like this. So this is about 75% of the men. Yeah. I'm not going to say 95 as I usually do. I'm going to say 75%. Why? They think, you know what? I'm living with a monster. Yeah? Rabbi, help me find a way for her to, chas v'shalom, die. So the rabbi hearing this, you know what he's saying? Yeah, mamash, what is this? How could she treat you like this? Yeah? And because at the end of the day, is she doing this? Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Is she disrespecting him? Yes, she's disrespecting him. Is she not cleaning the house? Yes, she's not cleaning the house. Is she being rude? Yes, she's being rude. She's doing all these things. However, the rabbi asked him why he couldn't just get a divorce and then live happily alone. But he replied that divorce wouldn't be enough for him. He wouldn't be able to relax until he saw her in the grave, since she had tormented him so badly. As long as he knew that she was in the world, he couldn't have any peace. And mamash, there's men who feel this way. They cannot see their wife alive because of the fact that she does to them. Not only this, in the cases we have, you know what they're afraid of? All the millions that he has, half are going to go to her. You hear? So therefore, he wants to see her dead rather than divorced. Why? Because divorce is going to be even more problems. So he says, the rabbi asked the rich miser to give him a few days to ponder, to think about it. And then he said, then you contact me again. Once the rich man left, the rabbi prayed to Hashem for guidance. Hashem enlightened the rabbi and understood that there must be some deficiency in the husband who had driven his wife to act so cruelly. The rabbi decided to send one of his students to the man's home to try to discover what it was. Yeah, he wanted to say, why is she acting the way she is? Be'emet, she's acting that way. One thing we don't understand is many guys, but Aroy, you don't understand. My situation is worse. She's unbelievable. She does this, she does that. Yeah, you and 95%. Here we're back to the 95. Yeah? Because the 75 want him dead. But the 95 have the same problem, right? She is that way. She's that way? Yes. So the rabbi sends one of his faithful students, dressed as a beggar, to the rich man's house with instruction to enter and search for something unusual. The student managed to enter at a time when the rich man was out. He heard his wife crying and cursing the husband. That stingy, wicked man. He leaves me here without a penny and goes off to his business. If only he would say one nice thing to me. But even with his words, he's stingy. I'm going to make him suffer when he gets home. At least then, I won't be the only one suffering. You see? Mamash, this is what every woman thinks. You know? Mamash, this is what every woman thinks, yeah? When he comes in, I'm going to make sure to make him suffer as well. Why should I suffer alone? Why should I suffer alone? You see what he said? He's stingy with his words, stingy with his money. You hear? Yeah. He says the student came back to the rabbi and he told him that what he had heard. The rabbi, with his new perspective on the situation, came with the plan. He called for the rich miser to come to him. Yes, Rabbi, do you have a solution for me? He says, yes. I remember the Talmud, which says that the punishment for making a vow and not fulfilling it is that one will bury his wife. For most people, this would be punishment. But in your case, this would be an excellent way to solve the problem. All you have to do is to make a vow that you won't fulfill and your wife will die. The rich man looked at the and said, wow, beautiful. So what vow should I make? Well, we don't have a mikveh in the town, and we know this story, yeah? Why not vow to build a mikvah? Build the highest specification with every comfort and luxury. It will cost a fortune to actually do so. Don't do it, and she'll die. You hear? Okay, but how long will it take? Perhaps Hashem will give me a few years to fulfill such a big vow. I haven't got strength to wait that long. I can't bear my wife's cruelty any longer. Don't worry. You'll make the vow here in front of me and 2 other witnesses, which will make it impossible to annul. That, coupled with the fact that Hashem knows full well that you have no intention to fulfill it, means that you should get the punishment as you deserve right away. What punishment? That she's going to die. Says, give me a date, Rabbi. Otherwise, I can't take pressure. Fine. I promise you that if you make the vow now, she will die within 3 weeks from today. Anna, you see how he was sure that everything is going to be fine? That he says, 3 weeks from today, she's going to die. This satisfied the miser. With the joyous heart, he vowed in front of the rabbi and 2 others to build a huge mikvah, big enough to cater for the whole community, built to the highest rabbinical specifications, and then he went home. 1 minute, the rabbi called him. Says, there's one more thing I want you to do. Of course, Rabbi John, talk to me. What is it? Well, since your wife has so little time to live, I want you to put every effort to make her last few weeks in this world as pleasant as possible. Buy her whatever she likes, give her plenty of money to spend, compliment her, praise her generously. Yeah? Says, what do you have to lose? Once she dies, all the money will come back to you anyway. As for the compliments, what do you care? Give it to her. Soon she'll be gone and you'll live in peace. So he says, you know what? She's going to die anyway. For 3 weeks, shower her with everything you can. No problem, Rabbi. I'll do exactly what you want. That the very thought that I'll soon get rid of her gives me much joy that I will have no problem to do what you want me to make her happy. No problem. What are we thinking? Without the dying, we're telling, listen, give her little compliments, yeah? I'm never going to do it. But he's thinking, okay, if I have to give her compliments for 3 weeks and then she's going to die, I'm good for that. 2 weeks passed, the rich man burst into Rabbi's room with tears. Rabbi, please, I want to annul my vow. The rabbi looked at him and said gravely, what do you mean? We specifically made the vow in the way that it's impossible to annul. Why do you want to annul it? Don't you want your wife to die? That's just it, Rabbi. I don't want her to die anymore. Since I made the vow, and then I did what you told me to do everything, that I should make her happy, she completely changed. She's so good to me. Huh? Yeah, she changed. You see? First. No, but he started giving her all the compliments and everything. So she's taking care of me. She loves me, even prays for me. She's becoming like an angel. Suddenly I realized what a good wife she is, and I don't want to lose her. He says, well, we can't annul the vow. If you don't want her to die, your only option is to fulfill it. You really have to build a mikvah exactly as you promised, with all the trimmings. With no other choice, the rich miser started that very day to organize the building of the mikvah. And from that time on, he lived in peace, lovingly with his wife. This here encapsulates the whole idea of this book, which is what? He says, listen, the wife was a terrible person? Absolutely. 100%. When he came to the rabbi, the wife was an awful individual. Any rabbi that would look at her say, this woman is not a normal woman. But what was the cause of this? The cause was him. Meaning, he drove her to this point where she couldn't take him anymore. And therefore, she drove him crazy with all the difficulty that she gave him. What was the solution? The Rabbi Kilu said, you want her dead? No problem. She'll die in 3 weeks. But you know what? These 3 weeks, shower her with the most love and compliments and moeta and give her and this and take her out and whatever. Rabbi knew she was going to change. But he didn't tell her she was going to change. He didn't tell him why. Because he would scare him if he would have said that. So he didn't tell him anything. What happened? Like we said over here many times. All you got to do is be consistent for 2, 3, 4 weeks and you're going to see a major change in your wife. She's going to be a different person. Why? Because she wants to do all these things. And lo and behold, that happened. And what happened? She changed. She became a wonderful person. You hear? So this concept is not a strange concept. It's a very basic concept to understand. If you're going to treat a person nicely, why would the person treat you nasty? It's not normal. It's not normal at all. Yesterday we were at a wedding. I saw the rabbi over there, and I saw something, spectacular, but you see it all the time. The groom, he's on the other side, by the chuppah, and he's sitting and he's waiting for her. And he's waiting until she comes out, and he's got this thing inside. Then he's, wow. And then he sees her, his eyes light up, and this and that, everything, wow. How could it be, after 2-3 weeks later, you become a tyrant? It's not normal. How could it be? All this, effort you put to bring this woman there, all the love, he comes, he starts whispering, all that shtuyot. All that, okay. What is that? What is it? Where are you after that? Where are you 2, 3, 1 month, 2 months after that?
It's a Broadway show.
It's a mamish Broadway show. It's a Broadway show. You hear? No, but that's not even. But so look, just as he's treating her on this, so maybe what we should do, we shall tell these camera guys, hello, you gotta give us the video right there. And this video he has to have on his breakfast table every day. And before he goes out, he's got to put this and see how he was longing for her over there, and say, wow, this is how I got to be all the time. And when he's going to be longing for her like this and treating her like this, guess what? She will do exactly the same to him. You hear? But for some reason, there's a major breakdown. We start telling her things that we would never tell her before the marriage. Never. We would mention it. Why? Why? Because we treated her with respect, with honor, with glory. We would have done anything for her. You hear? Before the marriage. Any guy would do anything for her. Any guy. If not, he wouldn't marry her. So why leave that concept at the chuppah and just leave? I'm okay. Finished? Yeah. So you know what we do? At the chuppah, we should have, change your clothes. Because what you're doing is you're leaving everything right over here. You're a different man completely. You understand? Yeah. So
it's not just the men, I feel like also. I think it's just women are a bit obsessed with the wedding day.
No. 1 second.
Some women are just, I want to get married, thinking that the wedding is the after that.
Then throw this to the garbage.
Not married yet.
What you're saying? So what are you saying?
I'm saying there are women that watch too many movies.
No. So we're not talking about the wedding. We're talking about the after the wedding. The after the wedding, the weddings are too expensive, and we don't need all this garbage. But what we're saying is the after the wedding. Why is there such a breakdown? The 2, 3, 4 months that are coming to the wedding, they would never, comment on her negatively. Why is she so special to him? Where is this that the specialty leaves? You understand? And that's what he's saying. Here in this case, he figured, she's going to die anyway, so I'll make her special. But why should we get to that stage? Why can't we make our wife feel special? All the keys are in our hands. You notice that a man walks around with a lot of keys. Women, they don't really walk around with a lot of keys. They just want to have the car key and one front key. They'll even leave the door open in order not to have keys. But a man, right? My wife would love it without the keys. But a man, he has keys. We have the key to her heart. We have the key to her mind. We have the key to her love. We have the key to everything. It's in our hands. And therefore we have to use these keys. But what does a man say? No, it's her fault. Where's her key? She cannot. She cannot start finding your heart. It's impossible. She could when you have it. When you find her heart and you in her heart, guess what? She'll be all over your heart more than you are. You hear? When you're making her happy, she'll make you happy more than you want to ever be. In fact, it'll be too much. You'll be like, whoa, So that's why he's trying to say the keys to life, the keys to the happiness of your life is in your hands. You understand? How? Make her happy. Don't comment. Make her first place, and she'll make you not first place. She'll make you king of all kings. Chas v'sholom, right? But she'll look at you like you're God. You understand? Because in her world, you're premier. But if you are not going to treat her this way, of course she's going to be dark and gloomy. Of course she's going to be all the things that he's saying she is. 100%. We're not saying she's not like that. Here, many men. No. My wife is like that. Yeah, your wife, his wife, that guy's wife. That. Everybody who's going to treat this wife like she's like that. They're all the same. And they all could be fixed the same way. No compliments. Number one, give her all that she needs. Give her love. Take her out. Make her feel special. I'm sorry, no negative compliments. No negative compliments, right. When I said, no negative comments. Yeah, compliments they love. Compliments they love. And then, in answer to the guy that called me yesterday, yeah, and then she's going to give you, wow, sweetie, you do so much for the family. You work so hard. You know, you do this, you do that. But you never told me this. I know, but I really want to tell you this. Believe me, they're going to tell you this. When they start telling you this, you know you're doing something right. When they're not telling you, you know you're doing something wrong. Here, Baruch Adonai L'Olam, Amen, Amen.